So, in Psalms or something else. And then you put in, now we're going back to the story of David. Where Absalom's going to go out after him, and David's valiant men, they win the day, but it's very sobering what happens to David in all this. Because of that transgression with Bathsheba, his household is ruined and he loses his son. All right, here we go. And when David was a little past the top of the hill, he told Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, met him, and a couple asses saddled upon them, 200 loaves of bread, 100 bunches of raisin, and 100 summer fruits, and a bottle of wine. And David said unto Ziba, What meanest thou by these? And Ziba said, These asses be for the king's household to ride on, and the bread and the summer fruit for the young men to eat, and the wine, and that such be faint in the wilderness may drink. And the king said, Where is thy master's son? And Ziba said unto the king, Behold, he aideth at Jerusalem, for he said, Today shall the house of Israel restore me the kingdom of my father. And when said the king to Ziba, Behold, thine are all that pertained unto Mephibosheth and Ziba, and said humbly, I beseech thee, that I may find grace in thy sight, O my lord, O king. And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, hence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, and the son of Gera. And he came forth and cursed still as he came. And he cast stones at David and all the servants of the king David, and all the people and the mighty men who were on his right hand and on his left. And he said, and thus said Shimei, when he cursed, Come out, thou bloody man, thou man of Belial. So, come out, thy bloody man, the man of Belial. He just called him the man of the devil. And Jehovah hath returned upon thee, and all the blood of the house of Saul, and whose steed thou hast reigned, and Jehovah hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief, because thou art a bloody man. So David is just taking it. He's taking his lumps. And then said Abishai the son of Zerah to the king, Why should we let this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. And the king said, What have I to do with you, ye son of Zerah? For let him curse him, because Jehovah hath said unto him, Curse David, who shall then say, Wherefore thou hast done so? So he knows that God sends him to curse him, So David's just going to have to take it. But I think the exchange is kind of funny. And David said to Abishai, and to all his servants, Behold, my son, which came forth from the bowels, seeketh my life. How much more may this Benjamite to do it? And let him curse, for Jehovah hath bidden him. So he says, his son's after him. But what's the big deal of this Benjamite coming out here? So the Benjamites, they were involved in a very wicked thing way back when. So they kind of still have that taint on them, even though of one of the Benjamites, Saul became king. That might say something right there. That's why Saul was chosen. God was mad that the people wanted a king. So they gave him a Benjamite. Oh. These little things that just scream off the page to you. You should listen to them sometimes. Be careful, test it. May it be that Jehovah will look on thy affliction, and thy Jehovah will requite me good for his cursing this day. And as David and his men went along the way, Shimei went along the hill side over against him, and cursed as he went, and he threw stones at him and cast dust. And the king and all the people were with him, and came weary and refreshed themselves there. And Absalom and all the people of Israel came to Jerusalem, and Ahithophel with him. And it came to pass, when Hushai the Archite, David's friend, was come unto Absalom, that Hushai said unto Absalom, God save the king, God save the king. And Absalom said unto Hushai, is this thy kindness to thy friend? And wentest thou not with thy friend? And Hushai said unto Absalom, nay, but whom Jehovah and his people and all the men of Israel choose this day, I will be, and with him I will abide. And again, so Abishai, or this Hushai, has understanding, okay? And he doesn't know how God is going to come down on David. He doesn't know how this is all going to shake out. So he's saying, hey, I'm putting it in God's hands. And there, again, and whom shall I serve? Should I not serve in the presence of his son? And have I served in thy father's presence? So I will be in thy presence. Then said Absalom to Ahithophel, give counsel amongst you on what we shall do. And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, go into thy father's concubines, which he had left to keep his house, and Israel shall hear that thou art bored of thy father. Then shall the hands of all that were with thee be strong. So they spread Absalom a tent at the top of the house, and Absalom went into his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. And the counsel of Ahithophel, which he counseled in those days, was if a man had inquired at the oracle of God. So it was the counsel of Ahithophel, both with David and with Absalom. Moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, let me now choose the 12,000 men, and I will arise and pursue after David this night. And it will come upon him when he is weary and weak-handed, and I will make him afraid, and all the people that are with him shall flee, and I will smite the king only. And I will bring back all the people unto thee, thou seekest, as if all that returned. So all the people shall be in peace. And the saying pleads Absalom well, and all the elders of Israel. Then said Absalom, call now Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear likewise what he saith. And when Hushai was come unto Absalom, Absalom spake unto him, saying, Ahithophel has spoken after this manner, that we shall go after his sayings. If thou not, speak thou. And Hushai said unto Absalom, the counsel of Ahithophel has given is not good at this time. For said Hushai, thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty, and they be chafed in their minds, as a bear robbed of her whelps in the field. And thy father is a man of war, and will not lodge with the people. Behold, he is hid now in some pit or some other place. And it will come to pass that when some of them be overthrown at the first, that whoever heareth it will say, there is a slaughter among the people that follow Absalom. And he also that is valiant, and whose heart is in the heart of a lion, shall utterly melt. For all Israel knoweth thy father is a mighty man, and they which be with him are valiant men. Therefore I counsel that all Israel be generally gathered unto thee, from Dan even to Beersheba, as the sand that is by the sea, for the multitude, and thou must go to battle in thine own person. So shall we come upon him in some place where he shall be found, and we will light upon him as the dew falleth on the ground, and as of him all the men that are with him there shall not be one left, so much as one. Moreover, if he be gotten into the city, then shall all Israel bring ropes to that city, and we will draw it into the river, and it be there, till there, and not one stone found there. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, the counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel. For Jehovah had appointed to defeat the good counsel of Ahithophel, to the intent that Jehovah might bring evil upon Absalom. Then Hushai unto Zadok and Abithar the priest, thus and thus did Ahithophel counsel Absalom and the elders of Israel, and thus I have counseled. Now, therefore, send quickly, tell David, saying, Lodge not this night in the plains of the wilderness, but speedily pass over, lest the king be swallowed up, and all the people that are with him. Now Jonathan and Ahaz stayed at Rogel, and they might not be seen come into the city. And a wench went and told them, and they went and told King David. Nevertheless, the lad saw them and told Absalom, but they both of them went away quickly and came to a man's house in Bethlehem, which had a well in his court, whither they went down. And a woman took and spread the covering over the well's mouth and spread ground corn thereon. And the king was not, and the thing was not known. And when Absalom's servant came to the women to the house, where is Ahaz and Jonathan? And the woman said unto them, They be gone over the brook of water. And when they had sought, they could not find them. And they returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass, after they were departed, that they came out of the well, and went and told King David. And he said unto David, Arise, and pass quickly over the water, for thus hath Ahithophel counseled against you. And David arose, and all the people that were with him, and they passed over the Jordan by the morning light. And there not lacked one of them that was gone over the Jordan. And Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed. And he saddles his ass, and he arose and got him to his house, to the city, and put his household in order, and hanged himself and died. And he was buried in the sepulchre of his fathers. Then David came to Mahanaim, and Absalom passed over Jordan, and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab. And Amasa was a man's son whose name was Arithai, the Israelite. And that came into Abigail's daughter of Nahash, daughter of Zeruiah, Joab's mother. So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land of Gilead. And it came to pass that when David was come to Mahanaim, that Shobi, the son of Nahash of Ramah, the children of Ammon, and the Mechir, the son of Amiel, Lodebar, and Barzai the Gittite, and of Rogelim, brought beads and basins and earth vessels and wheat and barley and flour and parched corn and beans and lentils and parched pulse and honey and butter and sheep and the cheese of kine for David, for the people that were with him to eat. For they said, The people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. And this is 18. And David numbered with the people that were there, and he set captains over the 1,000 and captains over the hundreds of them. And David set forth a third of the part of the people under Joab, and a third of the part of the people under Abashi, and the son of Zeruiah, and Joab's brother, and a third of the part under the hand of Ittai the Gittite. And the king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you, myself also. But the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, they will not care for us. Neither, if half of us die, will they care for us. But now thou art worth 10,000 of us. Therefore now it is better that thou succor out of us this city. And the king said unto them, What seemeth you as best to do? The king stood by the gate, and all the people came out by the hundreds and by the thousands. And the king commanded Joab, Abishai, and Ashai, saying, Deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom and all the people that heard when the king gave the captains the charge concerning Absalom. So the people went out into the field against Israel, and against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim. And the people of Israel were slain before the servants of David. And there was a great slaughter that day of 20,000 men. And the battle was there scattered over the face of the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. And the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. And Absalom met a servant of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule, and the mule went under the thick boughs of the great oak. And his head caught a hold of the oak, and he was taken up between the heaven and the earth. And the mule was under him, went away. And a certain man saw it, and told Joab, and said, Behold, I saw Absalom hanged in an oak. And Joab said unto the man that told him, And behold, thou sawest him, and why didst thou not smite him there, and give ground? And I would have given him 10 shekels of silver in a girdle. And the man said unto Joab, I thought I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in my hand. Yet I would not put forth my hand against the king's son, for our hearing the king charge thee, Abishai and Attai, saying, Beware that none touch the young man Absalom. Otherwise I should have wrought falsehood against my own life, for there is no matter hid from thy king, that thou myself would have set against me. Then said Joab, I might not tarry thus with thee. And he took 3 darts in his hand, and thrust them through the heart of Absalom, and while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. And 10 young men that bare Joab's armor compassed about and smote Absalom and slew him. So why Joab did this, I don't know. If you know, put it in the comments. And Joab blew the trumpet, and the people returned from pursuing after Israel, and Joab held back the people. And they took Absalom and cast him in a great pit in the wood, and laid a very large heap of stones upon him. And all Israel fled, every one to his tent. Now Absalom in his lifetime had taken and reared up for himself a pillar which is in the king's dale, for he said, I have no son to keep my name in remembrance. And he called the pillar after his own name, and it is called to this day, unto this day, Absalom's place. Then said Ahaz the son of Zadok, Let me now run and bear the king's tidings. Now Jehovah hath avenged him of his enemies. And Joab said unto him, Thou shalt not bear the tidings of this day, but thou shalt bear the tidings of another day. But this day thou shalt bear no tidings, because the king's son is dead. And Joab to Cushai, Go, tell the king what thou hast seen. And Cushai bowed himself unto Joab and ran. Then said Ahaz, the son of Zadok, yet again to Joab, But howsoever, let me, I pray thee, also run after Cushai. And Joab said, Wherefore thou wilt run, my son, seeing that thou hast no tidings already? But however, he said, Let me run. And he said unto him, Run. And then Ahaz ran by the way of the plain, and overran Cushai. And David sat between the 2 gates. And the watchman went up to the roof of the gate, and unto the wall, and lifted up his eyes, and looked, and behold, a man was running alone. And the watchman cried, and told the king. And the king said, If he be alone, there is tidings in his mouth. And he came apace, and drew near. And the watchman saw another man running. And the watchman called unto the porter, and said, Behold, another man running alone. And the king said, He also bringeth tidings. And the watchman said, Methinketh the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahaz, the son of Zadok. And the king said, He is a good man, and cometh with good tidings. And Ahaz called and said unto the king, All is well. And he fell down to the earth upon his face before the king, and said, Blessed be Jehovah thy God, which thou hast delivered up the men, and lifted up their hand against my lord the king. And the king said, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Ahaz answered, And when Joab sent his king's servant to me, thy servant, I saw a great tumult, but I know not what it was. And the king said unto him, Turn aside and stand there. And he turned aside and stood still. And behold, Cushai came. And Cushai said, The tidings of my lord the king, and the Jehovah hath avenged thee this day of all them that rose up against thee. And the king said unto Cushai, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Cushai answered, And the enemies of my lord the king, and all that rise against me to do thee hurt, be as that young man is. And the king was much moved, and he went up into the chamber over the gate and wept. And as he went, thus he said, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom, would God I had died for thee. O Absalom, my son. So that's where it comes to a head. David pays for his transgressions by the death of his son. That's how serious transgressions are. All these things that we take so lightly today. What does it say in Romans? Romans 11. Romans 11, something that we do not pay heed to. Romans 11. Behold, therefore, the goodness and the severity of God on them which fell severity, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou shalt be cut off. That's out of the New Testament, folks. The warnings out of the New Testament are scarier than the Old Testament, if you know what they mean. And you won't know what they mean unless you know the Old Testament, which is why we read the whole book. That was day 137. Blue Letter Bible app, Bible in a Year. Next is 138. We're probably going back to some Psalms. All right. I would have to look. All right. So I love you guys. Bye-bye.